Did you know that every single picture-taking opportunity offers no less than 6 and possibly 7 correct exposures? Hi, I'm Bryan Peterson, author of Understanding Exposure and Learning to See Creatively, and what I'm about to show you will hopefully be very revealing and help you not just in taking a correct exposure, but what I often refer to as the creatively correct exposure. I've asked my assistant Chris here to be part of the shoot, and he's going to do some jumping for us on that picnic table. What I'm going to do is begin with setting a single correct exposure. And what I mean by that is simply this. I will choose an aperture and a corresponding shutter speed that will tell me through the camera, according to what my camera tells, that this is in fact a correct exposure. So, as an example, I take this photograph at f22 and the shutter speed says, go ahead. You can take that picture at f22 at 1/8 of a second. So let's do it. Chris, go ahead and jump. Now, what I'm going to do is take another correct exposure, in this case at f16. And in order to keep the exposure constant, I have to readjust my shutter speed. Now I'm getting a correct exposure reading at f16 at a 1/15 of a second. Go ahead and jump, Chris. And so on. I'm now going to f11. My new shutter speed is a 30th. Jump. I go to f8. My new shutter speed is a 60th. Jump. I go to 5.6. My new shutter speed is a 1/125th. Jump. I now go to f4. My new shutter speed is a 2/50th. Jump. And finally, in this particular case, I can go to 2.8 and I get a shutter speed of a 1/500th of a second. Jump. What do you notice? The first thing you'll notice is that every single one of these exposures is correct. That is to say, their quantitative value is exactly the same. However, the visual effect is radically different. Clearly, when we shot the picture at f22 at 1/8, Chris is ghosted, a blur. Versus photographing it at f28 at a 500th of a second, Chris is razor sharp frozen action. Why do you need to know this? Simply because when you approach any given scene, you have to ask yourself, does this scene provide any motion-filled opportunities to freeze action or to imply motion? If not, then shutter speed is not a primary concern. If, on the other hand, the scene presented before you provides opportunities for tremendous depth of field or no depth of field, again, that's a choice you have to make. The following, you will see how depth of field, that is to say the correct aperture choice, is not just a simple matter of whatever I use doesn't matter as long as I get a correct exposure. That's not true either. You must make a decision which creative aperture choice makes the resulting depth of field. You have a choice. A lot of depth of field, no depth of field. Freezing action or implying motion. They're all correct exposures, yes, but you want the most creatively correct exposure. Until next time, this is Bryan Peterson saying, keep shooting.